One of the most common questions I've been getting as of late are, Geo, are you bullish yet? Geo, are you bullish yet? And at least in macro terms, the answer is no, not yet. Okay. And I want to go over why I'm not necessarily that bullish yet. Earlier this week in the VIP Discord, The Nexus, when we did our analysis, we found this long position, which worked out splendidly. Now, I want to give a very quick update. I am no longer using the heat map. And by no longer, I mean I didn't really use it that much to begin with, but there were a shit ton of liquidations down at 57.1, and they decided to not go for it. And I also, as you can see on the screen, had another potential long setup in the event that they decided to sweep this liquidity, go for those 57.1 liquidations, and then SFP it like I had drawn here and like I have had drawn for my Nexus members way back whenever I did the analysis. And they didn't do it. So I'm not in as big of a position as I would have liked to have been, just in the event that they decided to actually run down 57.1. So quick side tangent. We are no longer using the heat map. It sucks. Anyways, why am I not macro bullish yet? Let's go into it. So we had a big move to the upside. We're up 4% today, 5% today. We've been kind of in up-only mode, and we're going to talk about up-only mode here in a second. But the most important thing to note, guys, is this week is very important in terms of news, okay? We obviously had some, like, news events today. I don't even know them. You guys know I'm not a newspaper. But tomorrow's the big one. Tomorrow's the FOMC and the rate cuts. And whether it's 25 basis points or 50 basis points, I don't even know the difference. But I do know that it's going to have a shit ton of volatility. And so I'm going to tell you guys the same thing that I told the Nexus earlier this week, which is price is allowed to be as irrational as it wants. And we need to be prepared for all scenarios. Yes, price can see 74K all-time high this week if it wants to. It could also see 40K this week if it wants to. Why? Because the market makers are allowed to hide behind news events to get a really drastic move, and we're already starting to see it. So why am I not macro bullish yet? Well, I'll tell you this. Pumping into a news event generally is not a good sign, okay? You guys know, I'm sure you've heard buy the rumor, sell the news. I'm not saying this is going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but I am saying that that is obviously a narrative in crypto, and we've kind of been going in up only. Now, I want to talk about this up only because you guys know I am a very technical trader. I am not a news-driven trader. I am not a fundamental trader. I trade what the chart shows me. And based on this up-only move, there are a couple things that we need to recap. Number one, and we were talking about this on Twitter, so make sure you follow me on Twitter. The link's in the description down below. Is we had this liquidity that we could make a run for. So realistically, coming up this high hasn't changed anything quite yet, right? We had this liquidity we could come for. But not just that, but what is your market maker model? You usually will have 3 levels of rise or 3 levels of drop, an M formation or a W formation, depending on your direction. And then you'll have a pullback. You could see here that this was obviously rise level 1, retrace, rise level 2, retrace. And so it wasn't crazy hard to find this position, number one. And number two, it's not crazy hard to believe that we could see that 3rd level rise, which is what we just got right now. If we turn on Market Cipher, you can see that this 3rd level rise produced a vector candle at the high here on the 4-hour time frame. If we come down to the 1-hour time frame, you're starting to see multiple vector candles close to what could be potentially these highs. I haven't even gotten to our levels yet, but close to what could potentially be these highs. You're getting these moves that I define as seemingly out of nowhere, okay, in terms of the vector candles and everything else. So understanding that this could just be the 3rd level rise, and then here we could be expecting potentially an M formation where the second high either sweeps the previous high or doesn't matter, where it gives you essentially a lower high. That is something that is very possible, especially given our news events that we have this week. Now, I'm going to hide the vector candles. I'm going to hide Market Cipher for now, and I want to go over these levels. In my opinion, we have 2 very important resistances to the upside, okay? First of all, actually, let me just say, this high has now officially been swept. All this shitty liquidity that we presented, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, however long ago that was, is gone. So now you're allowed to short it, basically. This is like my point. But we're at 2 very, very important levels, and I want to go over why. The first one is between 61.5 and 62.2. This is a very important level. Why? This is the last order block that we have prior to coming up to 65K. Now, lately, your exchanges have had very large discrepancies in terms of structure. What I mean by that is at this high, the 64K high, Bybit USD did not take the high, okay? Meanwhile, your other exchanges did. So Bybit looks like this. Meanwhile, every other exchange in the book looks like this. This is very significant because this changes whether or not you have strong highs or weak highs, okay? And Bybit USD, which by the way, I'm very close to moving away from Bybit USD because in the last month or so, Bybit USD has been ass. Anyway, this changes whether or not we can really start to target these levels, okay? And it all comes into this order block here. So I am already looking for shorts because I understand that with big news events, things can move pretty quickly. So I am absolutely looking for shorts. However, especially if we come up and we tap this 4-hour block up here, I am very much so looking to short that. In addition to that, if I pull my golden pocket, which I should have actually done before I started the stream, so I don't know if my golden pocket is actually here. Let's see. Okay, you're in between the golden pocket and the 786. So we're in resistance anyways, okay? We're watching an SFP of this high, which we're currently getting, and we're watching this order block very carefully. Now, in the event that we lose this order block, we're going to come up for these highs, okay? And this is how I've been handling the discrepancies across exchanges as of late, is I will build my narrative and I will say, all right, well, if this gets taken, there's nothing else in between from here to the high. So we should be focused on the other, in this case, on Bybit USD, because Bybit USD has those targeted highs, whereas every other exchange does not. Every other exchange took the high. So that's something to take into consideration. So we are basically, long story short, in a very make or break zone right now for Bitcoin. Understanding so that we are still in a macro downtrend, and that is undeniable. So to answer the Twitter question, am I macro bullish? The answer is no. Nothing has changed yet, guys. We're still just in a range, within a range, within a range, within a range, okay? And yes, it is possible that we go to all-time high from here, as I've iterated in this video, in this YouTube video. But it could also roll over and just absolutely die, given that, like I said, heavy news event, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Okay, so that's one scenario. Now, where am I going to be if we break above 62K? If we break above 62K, I will say that I am neutral. Okay, I'm starting to become a little bit more neutral on the market. In the market, right? And then the real test, which you can see here with this guy, the real test is if we close above, let's say 67.5 to 68. If we can close above here, if we get above 62 and we come and we sweep these highs and we don't SFP these highs on like a high time frame, like a daily time frame, at that point, I will consider, upon a pullback, getting into a gig along that will hopefully take me to the all-time high. Okay. So like I said, I'm a very technical trader. I'm a very structure-based trader. And if you remember my videos from 40 days ago, yes, 40 days ago, indicating that this is your 4-hour high and this is your 4-hour low, that still remains true. Guys, we are internal structure on the 4-hour time frame for 45 days. We have not made a new 4-hour high or a 4-hour low for 45 days. Let's say 44 days. It sounds cooler. Yeah. So until that happens, then I will flip my tune, but there's nothing else to say until those numbers are hit. So if you want my exact coordinates, 61.5 to 61.2, give or take. And if you beat that, 66 to 67. You get above there, we're talking some serious business. Now, I want to address a couple other things that I have noticed. As I mentioned, there have been some discrepancies across the exchanges as of late, and that works the same with volume. So certain volume profiles have reclaimed, like I said, Bybit USD has been ass lately. It's just different from all the other exchanges. But you could see how Bybit USD claimed the value area low of the macro range, and volume theory suggests that you will rotate to the highs of the range, which is why we're not discrediting that idea. However, if we come to Binance, we have not yet claimed the value area low of the range. So depending on what happens here with structure, if we end up SFPing, if we end up taking the high, if we end up targeting those equal highs that we mentioned up here on Bybit, will depend on which chart I will, what I'm going to call main, moving forward for the next however long. Lately, I found that the trend of Bybit BTC USD has been ass, and so I'm not going to really pay too much attention to that. And so that being said, I believe as of right now, it is safer to assume that this value area low has not been reclaimed yet, as opposed to it has been reclaimed, okay? The last thing I want to address is everybody on Twitter is talking about how this is an accumulation, and theoretically, this could be an accumulation. I'm not at all discrediting that, and I'm not saying that it can't be. However, for a proper accumulation, you want to see at least some internal structure break. And the truth is if this was going to be a Model 2 accumulation, you would have wanted at least some internal breaks of structure, which we did not get on the second leg. Now, does that mean that this can't end up being a Model 2 accumulation and you can't just go higher? Absolutely, you can. But for me to have confidence in that, once again, you need to start breaking at the very minimum internal structure, which at this point coincides with 65K. So if we break above 62K, we're heading towards 65, in my opinion. Give or take, don't be exact with the numbers. If you don't head towards these highs, we're going to come lower. I believe we have a lot of liquidity beneath us. And like I said, FOMC, they are allowed to disguise their intentions with any madness that they want to create during those times. And they can just essentially blame it on the news. So we got to understand that. However, if they do make their way up towards that 65K level and they break it with conviction, not only is it going to give you a new 4-hour level, which is important, but it's also going to potentially solidify this idea as that macro accumulation that I have been wanting for and I have been ironically longing for. Oxymoron, whatever, for quite some time. Anyways, so that's my update here on Bitcoin, guys. Listen, the news is tomorrow. I couldn't tell you if it's going to go up or down. I could tell you yesterday that I thought it was going to go up today, and it did. Or I didn't know it was going to happen today, and it did. Right now, I can't tell you what it's going to do. I can tell you this. I'm in a short zone, and if I see the confirmations the way I saw the confirmations yesterday when we were in the long zone, then I will take those confirmations, and I will take that trade, and I will target much, much lower. Do I think this could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Absolutely. Do I think that it could just pump up straight to 74K? Yes, if that happens, I'll be even more bearish because, that's crazy in my opinion. Anyways, that's a topic for another day. That's it, guys. I'm a technical trader. I'm a structure-based trader. I don't know if it's bullish or bearish, if it's 25 basis points or 50 or 0, or I don't know the difference. I don't trade it like that. I'm just aware of the news because I need to be aware of the volatility. Anyways, if you guys like the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for my timely updates. I've been a little bit MIA on YouTube, and I apologize. I've been going through some health issues. So hopefully this week I'm back stronger than ever. And if you're looking to join the Nexus and catch these setups, catch these trades that I gave this yesterday, and I have all my levels, and we do live streams every day, this, that, and the other, then make sure you join. The link is in the description down below. Until next time, my friends, please trade safe, and please don't get caught up in the noise, okay? Eat the ginger. This week is like Bitcoin mayhem, so just be aware of that. I'll catch you guys next time.